Let's start with the business of name, image,
welcome back.
Nice to be here.
and likeness as we bring in our first guest tonight and a frequent guest on our show, Mark Comer from the Royal Blue Collective. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I always love listening. You guys have great guests every week, and I kind of got a little sneak peek of some of your future guests.
We got in June? Yeah, we got in June.
We appreciate our relationship with you.
Mom's the word, but that's awesome.
Well,
you guys, I love your show.
And you've helped us as you work with a lot of the players in different sports. You've been a great partner of the show to help funnel people over our way and help us get some of the big names that are currently playing at BYU. So BYU fandom all over the world can get familiar with these folks, you know?
Which is nice because it's great to get to know the players and know their personalities and you know, kind of have that little bit of a personal connection as a fan base with the players. And we have a lot of great kids, great young men and women that are BYU athletes.
Let's start with an update because it's been a little while since you've been here. How is BYU doing on the competitive field of NIL with their Big 12 colleagues? Where are we at?
I think very well. I think that, you know, you have, most of the support right now goes to football and men's basketball.
Right.
Now, there's been some other things that have been done for baseball and for volleyball with some great donors have stepped up and done some things. But, you know, you look at basketball as an example, and that's what everyone's really talking about right now. I feel like the Royal Blue and the basketball NIL, it's a top 15 collective, very, very competitive.
And 15 in the country.
Yeah. And what happens is that just allows, obviously, the coaches to really know they can go out and recruit the best athletes. Sometimes those athletes aren't the best fit, or maybe, you know, they like other situations better. But for the staff to be able to go out and do that and find the right athletes that they really want, you know, it's been really important. So we've had a lot of really good donors and people step up and really make some things happen to allow the coaching staff, because even less than a year ago, sometimes the talk was more about, well, BYU the collective doesn't have the money to go get these athletes.
A lot of the talk about yeah. Because it's easy to say and hard to prove.
Right.
Exactly. And I wouldn't agree with that narrative necessarily, because I kind of have a little bit of a picture on the inside. And but that's not really the conversation anymore. I mean, you see the athletes that are visiting and that Coach Young and his staff are going out and bringing here and talking to. These are guys that are getting recruited by the top programs in the country.
Right.
And we have a legitimate shot to get these kids.
But when we talk to players, and we have them on here that are involved, they basically say that, no, it's competitive. It's fine. Trevin, now I'm thinking of a couple of weeks ago when Trevin was on, but they all also add this. They all go, but BYU is a little different in that, they're competing from a financial perspective, but this networking opportunity and the way the BYU and the Royal Blue and everybody associated with BYU is networking us and helping us understand business, so that we can not just make money while we're playing football for BYU, but have a way to make a living whether we play professional sports or not. That's so unique to BYU. This is what the athletes are saying. So is that unique, and how is that working?
You know, it's great to hear the athletes, you know, talk about that, because from the beginning, the Royal Blue, it was about the whole athlete. It wasn't just about the money. We had no interest in going and just getting into bidding wars with the schools across the country. There's a lot more. The financial support obviously is really important, because these athletes are getting thrown a lot of big figures at them. Now, a lot of those figures that we hear about aren't necessarily accurate, right? But there's a lot of money being thrown at athletes at these big programs. BYU, as we all know, is a unique place, and it's a different place. And so how can we tap into the uniqueness of BYU, and support the athletes financially, but even more valuable than the money that they're receiving, tap into one of the greatest business networks of any school in the country. Mm-hmm. So I coached youth football, my boys, for a long time, and a number of their teammates were getting recruited in high school by the Stanfords and a lot of schools from around the country. And I would talk to their parents and say, look, obviously Stanford's a great school, But a lot of times you go to Stanford, you're one of 120 football players. And when you're done, you're done. When you come to BYU and you succeed at BYU, you're legendary for life. And this network will take care of you for life. So that is a big part of, for football recruiting as well. The mentoring program that we have in place, the networking, financial literacy, the classes. We brought in Fraser Bullock about 3 weeks ago for all the athletes. So how many athletes across the country have an opportunity to sit and listen to Fraser Bullock for an hour?
Yeah.
Just talk about what he has done successfully and not, and how that translates to the athletes. So it is unique, and I love it that the athletes understand that. And that's what we really try to do. Is the emphasis is not on the money. The emphasis is, how can we as a whole athlete create something that long after you leave BYU, that impact that you had, the network, the connections that you made here, your plan B.
Right.
95% of athletes, football players, think they're going to play in the NFL, and only 1.4% will. So don't discourage those dreams. Help support every way you can. But your plan B, how can we get that established here?
If you have a question for Mark on the NIL, on the live stream, this is the time to send it to us.
Yeah, BYU Sports Addicts say this is one of the things I love about BYU's position when it comes to NIL. Like, I think BYU's fan base wraps their arms around and their minds around, yeah, we want to have it be different than Miami or Florida State that's just saying, let's go pay a high school quarterback that's unproven $1 million. Let's just give him $1 million a year. Which is crazy to me.
It is, and it's so hard because with the transfer portal, and you have these kids go. There's a kid that went to Colorado and got paid a lot of money to go, one and done. Now he's at another school and getting another. And I don't fault him. I mean, that these kids can go and they can try to make as much money as they can if that's what's most important. But it really is. There has to be something more, and we want an athlete to come to BYU, and when they graduate, say, hey, the best decision I ever made was to go to BYU. And hopefully, we've made a lot of progress. We have some great guys that are members of the board that are donating their resources, their company resources, to create the mentoring side of it, to create the financial literacy. And we have a great sponsor who helps with all the taxes and educates on taxes. A lot of these athletes is the first time they've really been making any money.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, and it really resonates with the parents. And it resonates with a lot of the athletes. And so I was talking to Jay Hill a couple weeks ago, and he's, it's a big part of what they share in recruiting are the benefits, of course, of coming to BYU and playing in the Big 12 and all those things, but also what are the other benefits that they're going to get up that hopefully set them up for life?
Is anybody else doing stuff like that, like helping the kids with their taxes and helping them with financial planning and teaching them financial literacy and all that? I mean, I haven't heard about that. Maybe somebody else is doing it, but certainly is not a bunch of schools doing that.
No, none that I have heard. And there's some mentoring programs that have kind of been set up that seem to be a little bit more, maybe they're not fully launched yet or whatever. But I feel like what we have done and what we've been able to do is very, very unique to pretty much every other school out there.
And I want to make sure that everybody understands, we're talking about this unique part of BYU's NIL, but remember what we started with. Mark said that we're top 15 in being able to fund, so there are dollars there too. It's not like BYU's a pauper and so we have to make up for it with mentoring. It's like Kalani's vision, and I know that Kevin Young's vision now, and Mark's vision for this is, no, we're going to raise money and it's going to be sufficient to compete. But that's not all we're going to do for these players. They're going to get more than that, and that gives you a huge recruiting advantage.
Here's a money question, and this is why you're here tonight for a couple of minutes, and we're glad to have you. Jake Retzlaff's coming up in just a couple of minutes. There's a new plan, and you're here to announce it on how Cougar fans all around the world can become part of the Royal Blue and support guys like Jake as they're coming through. So let's hear it. How can everyone get involved?
Well, to start with, we had a lot of companies, a lot of corporations, and some individuals that really stepped up in a big way to really get the ball rolling. But there's this monthly fan membership that we just launched a few weeks ago. We want to open this up to everyone. We have been getting donations on the website of $25, $50, which is awesome. People give what they can. But now we want to create like an official, and we've created kind of an official program where you can come in at $19.84. That's the 1984 package.
Woo-hoo.
or $49.95, the True Blue package, or the MVP at $100 a month. You'll get a quarterly swag box, $100 a month. I think they got a signed Jimmer jersey and a Jimmer t-shirt. We're launching a quarterly Chalk Talk when you come in at least the True Blue level with coaches. We're going to do some meet and greets. There's a lot of things that we're doing. So it's not just here's $100. Thank you.
Poof.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to return and give some really cool
part
benefits.
Of the family.
Yeah, be part of the family. And so, right now, actually, we just launched this thing. If people join before June 1st, we're going to do a bunch of drawings. And I brought this just so I didn't miss out on anything. One of the prizes, 2 tickets to the first BYU football home game, and we'll do a private team experience. Signed basketball or signed jerseys from Richie Saunders, Trevin Nell, Dawson Baker, Dallin Hall. 2 teams signed BYU footballs, exclusive BYU merchandise. We can do a lot of that stuff. We're the official NIL of BYU.
Right.
We have great access to the athletic department, to the athletes. We work with them constantly. Jake and I talk a lot, and it's great. And so because we're
Do you
the official,
approve some of the passes? Jake's some of the routes. He's gonna.
Absolutely.
That's not. You are inside. That's
100%.
Nice. Jake, we're going to confirm that in just a couple of minutes.
But it just this kind of program, it allows everybody, because the biggest question, the first question was, what is NIL? And people are just reading about it, and really it was kind of negative. There's a little bit of negative connotation to that. But the second thing is, well, how can I get involved? Maybe I'm not in the position to donate a lot of money. How can I get involved? This gives every fan the opportunity to participate in supporting the athletes directly. Now, a few other schools around the country have a fan membership program that are raising $2, $3, $4 million a year for their NIL. And the unique thing about the Royal Blue also is this is all... every dime that comes in goes to the athletes.
Yeah.
And so when somebody is on our $50 a month program, they know that's helping us get the best athletes here, keep the best athletes here. And that's also, I think, a little bit unique, but just opening it up to our unbelievable fan base around the world that you guys know and see all these guys. We feel like we should be able to get 10,000 BYU fans from around the country donating an average of $30, $35 a month, whatever that is.
And that adds up to, that's how you build an empire.
That's how you build an empire. So we have some good goals of growth. The NIL world's changing a lot and pretty rapidly.
Yeah, John Crowder asked, he said, what's changing? What's on the horizon? And he says, is unionization? Is there talk about that for like what's going to happen? Do you have a vision into the future for us?
I don't think anybody does. It changes so quickly. But my opinion, based on things that I see and hear and people I talk to, at a certain point, it may very well just go that every school is paying the athletes.
Right.
Now that opens up a whole bunch of new questions of, are they employees, or are they not? But it seems to be going in that direction. One thing that I want BYU fans to understand is the support that they've given has been really significant, though, to allow what's happening with BYU, with the men's basketball program, with the football program, the recruiting class that we had last year that Jay, was just awesome.
Defense is going to, I'm telling you, people are going to be surprised. Defense can be lights out this year.
I agree 1,000%. And so in the meantime, wherever it gets to where it's going to get, we need to do everything that we can to really help support the program and help support the athletes.
We just put
in the chat the link.
All the info in the link for the Royal Blue Collective and the membership program, which I think is a great idea. You got 5 scholarships left on the basketball side just to get a team together, and the Royal Blue is a big piece of that. So this is just the start. Isn't it? This is the start of where you need to go.
It really is, and I feel like we've made a lot of progress in the last year, and we have some pretty lofty goals for what we can do, because we all like to drive home Saturday night from Lavelle Edwards Stadium with a smile on our face, or leave the Marriott Center on a Wednesday night or a Saturday night happy. This is one part of what us as fans can do to help, but it's getting wins, and that's what we want to do. But doing it the right way with the right athletes and having great impact on those athletes for their lives.
People want to feel invested with their money. They like to get stuff, like these boxes you're going to send out. And then they like to feel like they're part of that win.
That's right.
We're part of the reason Jake is here, and that goes that whole family concept we're talking about.
And if you don't vote, you can't complain about who won, right?
Right.
In the vote. So,
they do, but you shouldn't.
But
They still do.
You can really be a part of the success and the continued success of the football program.
Awesome.
Or of BYU.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Anytime.
And you're welcome anytime. And keep us up to speed on what's going on and how we can help and how the fans of this show and of course all the clips on YouTube and the reach only grows after we get off the air.
You guys have been awesome, and your show is great and big supporters, and you guys understand how important this is. And BYU understands it as well. It took a little while for everyone to kind of wrap their head around it, but you guys have been awesome, great supporters, and we appreciate that as well.
Thank you, and let us know, and we'll keep in touch, and we'll keep you in touch with everybody else.
All right.
Mark
Thanks,
Comer
Dave.
of the Royal Blue Collective.